Meet Judy Fine,
My jaw's ready for a hit.
a vocal, performance, and confidence coach who helps other people find their voice.
I help people love the sound of their voice.
Yet somewhere along the line, Judy lost hers. She's been calling herself everything.
I owned a theater in my bedroom with my imaginary friends.
Performance coach, confidence coach, vocal mentor. But the more titles she adds, the smaller her message becomes.
But I wanted to sing. I wanted to be creative. I wanted friends to have a project with. I wanted to feel successful, all those things.
Can I help Judy rebuild her confidence, refine her niche, and finally own the brilliance that she's playing down?
I'm hearing a bit of a quiver in your voice, Judy. Why is this emotional to you?
Yeah, very perceptive of you.
Let's meet Judy Fine. Now, before we meet Judy, I asked her a few basic questions about herself and her business so I can see how she talks about her. Let's take a sneak peek. When I asked her what her business is all about and who she serves, Judy says, I'm a vocal, performance, and confidence coach. I focus primarily on coaching late bloomers, usually women 35 plus who are getting back to doing things that have meaning. All right, already I'm really confused with what exactly Judy does because she's given herself 3 job titles. She calls them late bloomers, but I don't know if women who are 35 plus will consider themselves as late bloomers. I'm wondering what that definition actually means to Judy and how she actually helps them. Like, what is her end goal when working with our clients? I'd love to see that a little bit more clearly. When I asked Judy, what are your main goals for your business right now? Judy said, I'm always looking for ways to have more signature package clients. It's essentially a 6-month life confidence coaching program for people who want to transform their lives around their love of singing. I don't actually know what she means here because she's now talking about getting clients, what I assume to be high package level. Having said that, though, she's now calling it a life confidence coaching program. There's a little bit of confusion on how she's packaging herself. So I need to get right to the heart of that. When I asked Judy, what is your biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? Judy said, people generally don't know they're looking for what I offer. They usually find me because they look for singing lessons online. So I try to draw in singing students who could potentially fit my signature package, late bloomers, female, ready for personal transformation. And I think that's the problem right there. Judy doesn't actually know how to position herself. So she's targeting people who are generally looking for some sort of like singing lessons. But if that's not what Judy does, she's not going to find the client that she needs to make her business a success. So knowing how to position exactly what Judy does and knowing specifically who she targets is going to really help her define how she helps these individuals rather than just taking on students who are looking for singing classes, because I think Judy is just more than that. I asked Judy, have you done any work on your personal brand? And Judy said, I've worked with various marketing people over the years. So I'm guessing no. Let's meet Judy Fine.
Judy, welcome to the Fairy BOSSmother Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm super happy to be here.
Okay, I'm glad. Your enthusiasm is already fired up. So I'm going to do a quick vibe check, Judy. Do you want the full-on boss mode, so the gloves are going to come off and we're going to get in the ring together? Or do you want the kitty gloves to stay on so I could go slightly softer on you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. My jaw's ready for a hit.
Boom, boom. Okay, gloves are coming off. Okay, Judy. So warm-up questions, warm-up round. Tell us who you are and what you do. But most importantly, Judy, I want you to think back on the Judy that was Judy before you started your entrepreneurism.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was a long time ago. So I'm a vocal coach. I am a performance coach and a confidence coach, primarily for singers. More recently, I've been a performance and confidence coach for non-singers, which it's a form of life coaching. In general, all I really want is to help people be more who they are and like themselves and be unapologetic and all the things all those inner obstacles that tend to stop people from being who they really want to be. That's what I want to help people get past. I happen to do it through singing primarily. And it's really because it's all the stuff I had to get past.
So let's peel it back a little bit then. So you keep saying, that was who I used to be. This is what I used to do. I want to know that, Judy, what got you started in singing?
So when I was a little kid, I was one of those little kids. I was alone a lot. Had a very rich fantasy life. And I owned a theater in my bedroom with my imaginary friends.
Yeah.
And we put on musicals based on the top 40 hits of that week, because I was, I had this little junky radio was like a mono radio. This is like the 1970s. And every time the next hit came on, because they would just cycle through the same hits every 30 minutes, me and my imaginary friends would, this is kind of pathetic, but not, we would practice the scene that I created in my mind that went with that song. And what I learned really, as I got older and looked back, was that no, I didn't need to grow up and make a theater where I made musicals out of the top hits, but I wanted to sing. I wanted to be creative. I wanted friends to have a project with, I wanted to feel successful, all those things. It took me a long time to get there though.
Yeah.
I really flailed in my 20s. I didn't start to find my voice till I was 34.
Right.
And I didn't hang my first shingle as a vocal coach till I was 37.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So late bloomers are kind of my people. Because I was one.
Okay. I'm hearing a bit of a quiver in your voice, Judy. Why is this emotional to you?
Yeah, very perceptive of you. Sometimes I'm still sad about that little lonely girl having to have imaginary friends. I'm totally getting verklempt. So I think more than anything, I set out in everything I do to really see people. And that's if I'm on an elevator with strangers or working one-on-one with a client. I just never felt seen, and I want the people I'm around to feel seen by me.
Of course.
That was very good of you to catch that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you know what? Let's think about happier times, right? Number one, I think it's really kick-ass, Judy. You had a theater, imaginary or not, in your mind. You created a theater for yourself where, number one, you're performing. Not a lot of kids do that because a lot of kids just kind of stay in their own bubble and just hide. Yeah. You decided, nope, I want to be seen. I'm going to have all of my friends, imaginary or not, see me, hear me, witness me, feel me. That's a lot of you know what, girl? That takes a lot. That takes a lot to do that. I'm curious to know, Judy, how big was your theater? Was it 5 imaginary friends or was it thousands?
No, it was probably in the 5 to 10 range.
Okay.
It was my bedroom. So the imagination didn't go beyond my bedroom walls anyway.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is I don't know if it's interesting, but I wanted so much to be that person. Yeah. I was not able to be that person outside of my bedroom for decades. I had debilitating performance anxiety, and not just about singing on stage, about speaking up to people or, just saying what I want or being who I wanted to be. Debilitating performance anxiety. So that little girl, she knew this is what happens, right? We know when we're 8 years old who we want to be. But it took me decades to get there.
Okay, so what was the stopping blocks? I mean, decades is a long time for that little girl to be stopped at every time. And then finally at 37, you're like, you know what? That little girl needs to be honored right now. I'm going to do it for her. That Judy Fine, that little girl, I'm doing it for you. So what made you decide, you know what? Now is the time for me to just go,
Yeah, I mean, it was an ongoing process, right? So I like I said, I flailed in my 20s. I just was afraid of the world. I had wicked, imposter syndrome. And then what I did was I got into relationships and just allowed myself to be swallowed up by them because I was so afraid to just be who I was. And so, I latched onto people who had dreams, but they weren't mine, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then in my late 20s, I had a pretty serious relationship with a pretty serious alcoholic.
Right.
And that brought me down so low that I decided, I don't care what the hell happens. I'm going to be happy. And I saved up a whopping $600 to move from Virginia to New England to Vermont. And, it was gone before I was in my first apartment. I had to borrow money and stuff. But that was the point where I was like, I don't care how much money I make. I don't care who approves. I am going to be happy. And I spent a year and a half not doing music, not really doing anything. I played volleyball. I hiked. I canoed, and then I missed music.
Yeah.
And then, so it was just right after I turned 30, I missed music and I started writing songs again and I started finding people to play in bands with. And then at 34, I found my voice, my modern singing voice. And then because I could suddenly sing the way I had wanted to since I was 6, I don't know, I wanted to start a support group for recovering classically trained singers or something who wanted to be pop stars. Yeah. And so I got certified in this method. And that's, fast forward to age 37, that's when I started coaching or vocal coaching. So it was just all in inner battles, inner obstacles that I didn't know how to combat. I just didn't have those tools. And I had to get so low from not doing it that the only way was up.
Oh, wow. Wow, Judy. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I'm curious to know, I mean, this is a podcast. This is not the easiest podcast to get on by any means necessary. So what made you decide you're now ready to be on the Fairy BOSSmother Show?
So I'm 55 now, right? So I've been through different, marketing attempts and whatever, and to figure out who I am. And I know I will get something good from you. Like, I'm no longer afraid of feedback like I was when I was young, because if you tell me 10 things and I only get something out of 2 of them, that's fantastic.
Right.
That kind of thing. So with each passing year, I just want to be more myself, and I am finding myself sort of starting to turn in a new direction. And I'm positive that you could help me with that.
Yeah. Okay. I want us to have like a little visualization exercise, because I feel like the inner child is going to come out, right? You know what? I'm going to get you to close your eyes, Judy. So unorthodox of me. Right? I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you are in the highest peak of a mountain right now. The vista is absolutely beautiful, but you can't see it because there's clouds just covering the sky. You're right at the top. So you feel that isolation. You're completely alone, but your voice can carry through the wind right now. On the top of your voice, Judy, what will you shout to that little girl who is inside you, waiting to break out?
What will I shout?
What comes? Just say the first thing that comes out your mouth.
The first thing that came to mind was, come up here with me and take a look.
And can you explain what you're seeing right now?
I see myself like holding her, and we're just looking at the view.
Yeah.
I see the clouds moving.
Yep. How are you feeling as the adult right now?
Like I'm just being the person that I want to be.
And who
I'm
is
helping
that,
others.
Judy? Yeah. Who is that?
I want everybody to be on top of that mountain. There's just part of me that wants to help everybody get to the top of that mountain.
Yeah.
And not feel the way I felt.
Yeah. How did you feel, and what will you do to ensure that the next person who joins you on that mountain does not feel like that ever again?
I feel like I do this already with people. Like I help them dare to believe that they can pick their view, and maybe it's not that view. Maybe it's a different view. Maybe it's an ocean or an island. I don't know. To just design the picture.
Yeah.
And then take the steps to see it.
Okay, you can open your eyes, Judy. Okay. I know this is like going back in memory lane, but here's the thing, right? There's a lot of limitations. There's been a lot of limitations in your life, right? That abusive relationship, the fact that you've had debilitating, you mentioned that word, debilitating self-confidence issues, performance issues, despite the fact that you're at a theater by yourself, right? Right? There's been stops and starts in your life. Now, let's imagine you have $1 million in your bank right now. So money is like, you know what? I'm not worried about money anymore. And also at your age right now, you're thinking, right, I've got time to make an impact right now. As me right now, not as me yesterday, as me right now. Don't worry about tomorrow, right? Limitations are gone. So what version of yourself do you want to become right now?
I mean, I think it's just further on the same path. It's just further on the same path. If money was no issue, I would find a way to offer it to more people, because other people, it's unfortunate that these kinds of things require money. Like you need money to be able to hire someone to help you with these things. So I would want to find a way to get to help more people, and maybe help, like I can have this vision of like a coaching collective or something with a similar goal, where we could pool our resources and sort of help other people. And it's really just more of the same. More of the same. There's so many people, especially young people right now, just don't know their value and see possibilities.
Yeah. One of the things that you mentioned, Judy, is you do voice coaching, right? You call yourself a confidence coach. And it sounds like you've gone through an entire history of not feeling confident in your own self, in your own voice, in your own inner self, right? So you mentioned also that you do work with people similar to your age group, but you just also said that a lot of young people need that same training as well, where they feel undervalued. They feel like they don't have a voice. They need to grow up in order to matter, right? So what I'm hearing is there's a lot of like, I want to help everyone. I want to help this group. I want to help this group, and I want to make an impact. Now, let's like zoom it in a little bit more. What exactly are you helping them with? What is a problem that only Judy Fine can fix right now?
Let me think for a second. Yeah. So there isn't some kind of specific curriculum or action. It's, do you authentically want to be, and how can I help you be that person?
A lot of people can't even answer that. Even you couldn't answer that at this age.
Totally.
Yeah.
So there are some tools that I use that try to help, because I can't tell anybody what they want. Kind of like you can't say to somebody, this is your brand. You have to help them discover it. There are methods for that. There's something called the fantasy workshop, which comes from the little girl doing the theater when I was a kid, where if you can put yourself into a fantasy that you really love, and maybe you already have it, or maybe I might say, write yourself into a novel. You're the main character. What do you do? Where are you? Whatever.
Yeah.
If you can find the fantasy, no matter how ridiculous, you could be an alien in a foreign an alien region of space. If you can find the fantasy that really lights you up, and then ask yourself how it makes you feel, and then separate the feelings from the fantasy, from the actual way you get to those feelings, and then say to yourself, how can I get these feelings in my life?
Yeah.
That's the only way that I know to start to figure out, because there are lots of ways you could be happy.
Yeah.
Because it's not the thing that you think is going to bring you. It's like, for me, it's not actually singing. Singing was the medium.
Yeah.
Was the tool I used.
Yeah.
But it's the feelings that I want to create. So if we can separate the things we think we want from the feelings we think they'll give us, we can apply those feelings to almost anything.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I can give you, because everybody's so different.
Yeah. So I think right now you don't really have an audience for the work that you're doing. And I think that's probably why you're struggling so much. So you mentioned feelings. Feelings is very abstract, because one person can feel one thing and not be able to describe what it is that they're feeling. So I think we need to simplify exactly what it is that you do, Judy, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, right? So let's just break it down in the simplest form. Imagine you don't have a voice. Imagine you can't talk, or someone just gagged you. How would that make you feel, right? So you're removing the one thing that you train people on. By removing that is now become a big, like a debilitating issue for them. You can't talk. Now what do I do? How do I feel? And what am I supposed to do in this situation, right? Now we can kind of construct, right, I'm feeling angry that I can't express myself, maybe. Or, I have so much to say, and now I have to find another method to be able to express that. Or it could be, I don't know, you give me 2 examples. Like, you have no voice. Someone's literally got their hand on your mouth. How are they feeling? How are you feeling in that moment?
Yeah. Insignificant, invisible, because nobody can hear that I'm here. Invisible comes up for me a lot.
Yeah.
Not having a voice is, it's literal and it's metaphorical, right? It's like not having a say in my life or in the world, or it's almost like not having a face.
Right.
Or an identity for something.
It's a huge, exactly. So those are things that you fix for your clients right there, right? So so this is your first exercise, Judy. Getting pen to paper, just imagining you're doing this. You can't hear a word I'm saying. I don't even know what I said there, right? How does it make you feel? And write all of the words that come to your head. Invisible, insignificant, like you're not worth anything. Write that down. And that is going to give you a very clear picture of, shoot, this is what my clients feel. This is how I felt, because I couldn't find my voice, right? And
I think identity is really strong in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then here's the other thing. What would someone say, like they've got that hand on their mouth and they say, good, I want that hand in my mouth because I don't like the way I sound. Or I have nothing to say, or no one's going to hear me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So many people don't like the sound of their own voice, are so hard on themselves and so forgiving to how other people's voices sound.
Right. And that's a lack of confidence right there.
Yeah.
Right. So we've just broken down in the simplest terms all of the fears that people can experience and feel by not having their voice, plus the lack of confidence that they have about their own voice right now.
Yeah.
This is where you come in, Judy. You fix both of those things through the work that you do with your clients.
Yeah, that's a great way to think of it.
Right? When I was describing all of that, how did that make you feel?
Sort of motivated. Like this is a good thing. This is a thing I want to keep doing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you know what? Let's go slightly deeper, right? Okay, you said, and I agree with you, a lot of people don't like the sound of their voices. I am definitely one of them. Right? There's so many people. I don't know how many people would say, you know what? I love my voice. I should have been a radio host or something like that. It's like very small percentage. So I personally think that you are chasing after the wrong target audience by, you mentioned that you help performers and singers, with their art. That's a very small percentage of the population right there. However, let's assume instead of focusing on the artist, you're now saying, do you hate the sound of your voice? Do you think it sounds like this or this and this? What if with the right voice training, you can become more magnetic, you can have your own authority, and you are in full control of your identity. You are no longer scared to show up for yourself now because you're using your voice in the right way.
Yeah. And it's more than just your voice. It's being clear about what you want to say, what you want your voice to say. Yeah.
Enter Judy Fine.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know what? Let's do a little bit of a role play. Judy, I know I do podcasts and I know I'm visible everywhere and I still hate the sound of my voice. Help me. What do I do about this?
Get a new job. No. No, that's not it. What do you not like about your voice?
Okay, so I think I sound too nasally. And sometimes, I mean, I know I have a British accent, but I wish it would be a little bit more pronounced sometimes. Other times, I feel like I'm speaking too fast. And other times, I feel like I just can't shut up. I just keep going.
So we're going to replace can't shut up with you just have a lot to share. But there's a mix, right? There's a mix of, there are tools to help you speak with more confidence and more clearly and slow down and things like that. There are specific, like actual just nuts and bolts tools, but the rest is to examine, are you speaking too fast? Or are you speaking too much? Is it that are you afraid other people think you're doing this? Is this like, you almost have to assess what's real and what's not real. Is your voice nasally? Your voice isn't nasally. I don't know if that's a real thing you feel, but there's a way that we assess other people with a lot of forgiveness that we just don't assess ourselves. So we would need to look at how you feel about yourself. Who taught you your voice is too nasally? Who taught you you're speaking too much? You know, that kind of thing.
So I can see that the work that you're doing goes beyond just like doing the voice coaching itself. There is a lot of psychology behind the work that you do, right?
It's a form of life coaching for singers. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that you mentioned, Judy, is you want to become an author as well outside of the work that you're doing, right? Walk me through that journey. What made you decide, you know what, I have so much to say. I'm going to write about this one thing. What is that?
Well, I mentioned when I was young, I had a rich fantasy life. And so all throughout my life, I've written short stories and that sort of thing. I even self-published some really not well-crafted books in the past. So more recently, I decided to really polish one I had written earlier and put it out there. And my coaching has snuck into it. So there's a lot about identity and overcoming past trauma and finding your voice, you know, metaphorically in this story. And it is more than music. It's the thing I can lose days to. I can forget to eat. It's that kind of thing more than singing.
Yeah.
So, and it's so closely tied to the kind of person I am and the kind of coach I am. So it is the thing that I do that makes me feel like I'm being who I really am. Like if I were coaching myself, it is the thing I would encourage myself to do more, if that makes sense. So it's all about all the things we just talked about, loving yourself, recognizing that the things you may have previously seen as flaws are actually your features.
Right.
And you can lean into them.
Yeah, right. I would love to hear a lot more about what it is that you do. But before we do that, Judy, we are actually halfway through the show. Do you want me to go deeper or do you want me to stay steady?
I don't know. What does your gut say?
My gut says go deeper, girl.
So let's do it.
Okay. All right. So, Judy, we talked a lot about what you did in the past and what brought you to where you are right now in this moment and some of the new and exciting things that you're doing. I'm curious to know how you talk about yourself online and what we can find about you on the internet. Now, before I do, have you ever Googled yourself?
I've Googled to see where I show up, where my coaching business shows up, but I haven't done a deep dive into, lawsuits or something. I don't think I have any of those.
Okay. Well, why does your mind go straight to lawsuits? I don't think I've ever heard that before. Like, do I have a lawsuit? I better check the internet because no one's told me about it.
Am I on the sex offender registry?
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. So do you find that you don't separate yourself or you do separate yourself from your business to you, Judy?
It's very hard to separate the two. It's very hard to separate the two. I'm not sure I know how to do that.
Yeah.
My business is just me doing me. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you said, I'm looking at my business as opposed to I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. What do you think I'm going to find? Are you scared?
No. Other than inconsistency, I don't think you're going to find much.
Okay, so let's find Judy Fine. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to look for Judy Fine on Google. Let's see what we have. Okay, that's promising. So the first Judy Fine I find is you. Become a better singer and build confidence, which is absolutely amazing. So there's some images. Are these all you?
Yeah, the one to the right is a stock photo from something. Oh, from my homepage.
Okay, cool.
But
And
the rest
then,
are me.
okay, that's beautiful. And then it just seemed like a lot of these are quite relevant. You're on other people's website. Okay. Is anything here that is surprising to you? Okay. Well, here's the good news. Judy, it doesn't look like there's another Judy Fine at all. At all. I'm going to look on the images. I'm going to see if you have any other. All right. So you are in competition with someone who's already dead.
Good to know.
Okay. And then I think there's a professor or alumni here. There's someone in manufacturing. There's a few people with Judy Fine on LinkedIn, but it does not look like there's a Judy Fine who does voice coaching, which is absolutely amazing because guess what? You have no competition right now with your name, which means that we need to amplify your personal brand so that when your name comes up, it is synonymous with voice coaching and the things that you want to do. You know, you mentioned, I want to help as many people as possible. Well, you need to be known in order for other people to discover you. So that also means that we need to raise the stakes and we need to raise your value with your name in it. And right now you can dominate the internet with just being yourself as you define the voice coach because no one else is taking that space.
Okay. I don't know how to do that.
Right. Yeah. I was going to ask, like, does that sound hard to you? Does that sound like you're climbing that mountain and going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get there?
I mean, I don't really know how to do it, but I don't feel, I'm happy to learn new things, but I also don't feel, I think I might have reached the age where if I don't feel like pressure, like, oh my God, my life will end if I don't get there. So I don't feel that kind of anxiousness about it, but that would be
good.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I'm going to jump on your website too now. Let's see. First impressions. Okay, so we are on judyfinecoach.com. And the first thing you mentioned, right under your name, it says vocal, performance, and confidence coach. Right. That's 3 different job titles you've just given yourself, Judy. Why did you decide on that?
I definitely wanted the confidence part because I confidence coach people who are not singers. So I felt like that needed to be separate. The performance I was on and off with whether or not I should do it. But I think the most common fear that people who want to sing have is performing. So that's why I decided to put that in ultimately.
Okay. So on your homepage, it says ready to go all in on your singing dream. So we already mentioned that that's quite a small niche target audience. Whether you're a newbie or an experienced singer, in just 6 months, you can catapult yourself closer. And then you've got your Rockstar membership. And then when we go down, 4 ways to become a better singer, and you've got your programs here. And then I'm assuming these are case studies, right? Okay, so case studies, which is always good. But here's the thing, Judy, the one thing that I'm not seeing right now, considering this is the Judy Fine coaching, where is Judy Fine right now? Where is she? Judy, why are you hiding?
Yeah, I don't know.
And you know what? I don't even see an about page. Like, I don't know who my coach is right now. Seriously, where are you, Judy? Where are you? Why are you hiding?
I don't know. I don't know. I did have an about page for a while. I don't know if I don't know why I got rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of pages in my menu and I was trying to keep that down. But why?
So you decided to cut yourself? Oh my God. Like, Judy's getting the cut. No one needs to know about who Judy is. I'm just going to cut her off.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's something to think about for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, speaking of confidence, Judy, you need to have confidence in your own self by showing up in your own business.
Yes.
Right. And right now, even with your business name being Judy Fine Coaching, Judy Fine is nowhere to be found right now. And you don't even have competition on the internet for that name right now.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And the other thing I noticed, Judy, is the homepage of your website. There is a picture of you, but let me go back to this so I can demonstrate to the audience. That's an image of you, right?
Yes.
It's not even a full image of you. It's like in the background. You are in the background of your own image. And it's not even like a blown up image of you where people can see you confidently. right? Did you ever notice that before?
I
No.
just got right to what I can give you and not about me.
Yeah. All right, Judy. Look, if you're going to be preaching confidence, you have to practice that walk. Talk the talk, walk the walk. So, Judy, I want you to start showing up more with more confidence. Like on top of that mountain confidence. No one is going to tell you to get down. No one's going to tell you to shut up. If they do, their voices are smaller than yours because they're down there and you're up there right now. And I want you to be bold with your messaging because right now, girl, you are too much in the background. You're not showing yourself at all. And oh my God, you cut yourself in your own website with the About page.
Yes.
We need to bring that back.
Yes, I will do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that I noticed on your website, Judy, is there's too much about your packages and not enough about the problem that you're looking to fix, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to go back to basic and saying, do you like the sound of your voice?
Right.
There's going to be two answers. It's going to be yes or a no. If people say, yes, I do like the sound of my voice, you know what? I should have been a singer. You're saying no.
They won't say that. Even if it's true, if
Right.
they have a great voice, they won't say that.
Right. No one likes the sound of their voice. So you already got yourself a massive market because if like, let's assume 98% of the people that you ask that question to says no, guess what? Perfect.
Do you want to?
Target audience. Right. That's when you can start to introduce them about, right, well, I'm a voice trainer and let me tell you what I've learned in the decades that I've been working in this industry. Boom, 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 boom. And then you can find out, okay, why don't they like their voice? And then if they did have confidence in their own voice, because you can't exactly like, you can't swap your voice out with someone else, it's impossible. So you have to learn to love it.
Right.
And like you said, Judy, you train your voice to become better.
Mhm.
You can't do that by yourself because you're like, whatever, however old your audience is, they've probably tried and thought, you know what, I don't even know where to start. Of course, they're going to need an expert like you.
Any feedback?
Yeah. So this is where you can kind of like, you know what, try out one session with me and let's see if we can turn your insecurity into confidence. So you're not going to call yourself a confidence coach anymore because I think honestly that waters your brand down so much. Calling yourself a performance coach is too niche. It's far too niche to what you want to do. But then calling yourself a vocal coach, that can apply to a lot of people. And we're going after...
Say it.
Okay, tell me your thoughts. I'm doing a lot of talking. See, I can't shut up.
So, no, it's great. Are you suggesting to take performance and confidence away from Judy Fine vocal? Because one of the challenges I've always felt is, the people who first come to my website, they have most often searched singing teacher near me or singing lessons or vocal coach near me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what gets them in.
Yeah.
But the confidence thing is, I get a lot of feedback. Like the reason I reached out to you is because I want more confidence. So I feel like vocal coach is too generic and doesn't describe how I'm different.
Okay. So here's the thing. You need to stick with one job title. You can't give yourself every job title under the sun because in that way, you're never going to find your own identity as an entrepreneur. And you've already gone through like 30 years trying to figure out, oh my God, who am I? What do I do? Why is things stopping me? It's because you can't decide on something. So today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show, Judy, I need you to decide, what the hell do I call myself? This is what I want you to commit to. Because once you make that commitment, then everything else you work around it. Okay. So you got to commit. Is it vocal coach? Is it confidence coach? Or is it performance coach? Because this is my opinion based on what I see from you right now. A vocal coach leads to two different paths, confidence or performance. Not everyone wants to perform, right? But if you want to perform, you need a certain level of confidence to do it. So it's almost like you now have steps now in your programs. If you want to perform, you need to start at the bottom. You can't start in the middle, even if you're an expert at what you're doing. If you want to get up top, you've got to follow through the steps because I'm the expert and I know how to get you there. So really what you're doing is, of course, the most basic thing you're doing, Judy, is you're building up their confidence so that they can sharpen up their voice. They can have more authority. And if they want to perform, they can perform. But that is like the ultimate dream for a lot of people is I want to I want to go on stage. I don't want to have performance anxiety. I don't want to freeze. I am scared of what other people are going to think of me when I open my mouth. Like all of that is part of performance, but there's different like roads to that performance. It doesn't have to be singing. It could be speaking. It could be standing in front of like the family. That could be something scary for a lot of people because they don't have a voice. All of that is, I think all of that is part of your training, but the end goal for people is what you have to decide on. You're teaching them how to become more confident using their own voice.
Right. I have to think, I don't feel like I have a solid answer to that.
Mm,
I feel like I have to think about that.
yeah.
I've always gotten caught between, I think I already said it, like what people are searching that makes them find me.
Yeah.
And because I think, what I've experienced over the years is nobody knows they need more confidence. They just think they can't sing.
Yeah.
So the thing I really offer, they might not even know they need until they've stepped into the singing part.
Right. Yes, but that's the problem. They don't know they need that. You're basically showing them why they need you. Is you're flipping the script now. You're coming out and saying, this is the problem that you've had. Because we've already established 90% of your audience is going to say no to that answer. Do you like the sound of your voice? It doesn't matter whether they're singing or they're speaking. The answer's still going to be no, right? How do we turn that no into a yes? That's where you come in, Judy.
Mm-hmm.
You're turning that no into a yes. And the methodology does not matter. That's what happens behind the scenes. And your audience does not need to know how you do that. So you can figure that out in your own time with your own program. What you're promising them is, I'm going to turn that no into a yes. And you're going to get confidence in your own voice. Right? Okay. Can you do that, Judy?
Wait, what are you asking me?
Can you turn that no into a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Judy, quick exercise. Now that we've gone through all of this and we're going to wrap up very soon, can you introduce yourself, please, in like one sentence? All right, look in the camera.
I know.
Right, come on, look in the camera.
I'm so used to vocal performance confidence. It's almost like I don't know if I could leave any of those out.
Let's try it out, just for the sake of like testing this out.
I am Judy Fine, vocal coach. It feels empty.
It feels empty. Okay. It's because you only said two things. You said, I'm Judy Fine and I'm a vocal coach. And it's like, so what? What do you do, Judy? I'm Judy Fine and insert. This is what I do.
I help people love the sound of their voice.
Why?
Use it unabashed.
Why?
So they can be who they really want to be. So they can be true to themselves. So they can share their truest voice with the world. So they can, I'm deciding as I go. So they can confidently share themselves with the world. So they can make themselves heard in the world.
Okay.
Something like that.
Let's try this again. I'm going to give you an F for that. I'm sorry.
Now he's talking too much.
Yes, we need to like elevate a pitch. Yeah. I'm Judy Fine and this is what I do and this is why you need me. And that's a level of confidence that you need to show to your clients. And this is where your personal brand really, really matters. Because right now, your identity and the things that you're doing and things you're calling yourself, it's just way too watered down. And I think this is why you're having so much difficulty in explaining what it is that you do, because you don't know what it is that you do right now. Yeah. And the fact that you said, just calling myself a vocal coach felt empty is because there's nothing behind it right now.
Yes, it is empty.
Right. It is. This is literally an empty vessel right now. Girl, this is where you start to fill it up with meaning and reason and like thinking about your past and wow. You know, my voice is everything because Tarlene said the minute Tarlene's going to gag me right now and she's going to do this. I never want that to happen again. Remember that moment and remember why it is what you do. This is the thing that you chose to do for yourself, Judy. Let's try this one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, Judy Fine. Who are you and what do you do?
I am a vocal coach. I help people find their true voice. I'm not ready. Wait, let me try again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Judy Fine. I am a vocal coach and I help people love the sound of their voice and share it unabashedly with the world.
Yes, that's so true. Wait, that was awesome. That was awesome. That came out so much more fluidly. You explained who you are, what you do, and why you do it in one breath. Okay, that did not sound empty to me whatsoever because you use identity and you use descriptive words to get them to their end goal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just need you to practice that a few times. And if it feels empty to you, Judy, it's because there's no backstory behind it. This is where you start to build it up based on your own story, right?
Yes, I like it.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, you went from an F grade to a B grade, so that's pretty good in like 2 minutes.
I did that a lot in school.
Yeah, you can tell, like practice, got to be on your feet. All right, well, Judy, wow, we've talked a lot. We're wrapping up very, very quickly now. So what would you say is the biggest realization you've had today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show?
I mean, I didn't realize, it didn't occur to me that I wasn't on my website, honestly. Like that picture felt like I was on my website, but it didn't occur to me that it's been years, I think, since my story has been any part of my website.
Yeah. And then what's the one thing that you're going to implement immediately based on our conversation?
Definitely this, how I'm defining myself. The what we just did, I help people find their voice and share it unabashedly with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's like you wrote it down and now it's like stuck in your head.
I think I had the unabashedly with the world I used at some point in the past and somehow lost.
And it just came up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, do you believe that you can do this by yourself, Judy? Or do you feel like you need a little bit more guidance to get you there?
I mean, guidance is always great, but I also feel like I at least know next steps to try.
Yeah, that's great to know. And how would you feel if you can nail everything and then some based on our conversation today in less than 100 days?
I mean, obviously that would be great.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It's possible. And I will walk you through the next steps at the end of this episode. But Judy, it was wonderful having you. Before we close this episode, is there any last things that you'd like to share?
Just thank you so much for this. It was great. It was wonderful. I wish you lots of success with this podcast because you're really good at this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And Judy, show up as yourself. Do not water down your identity. And I'm sure you're going to help as many people as you say you want to. Just keep practicing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy BOSSmother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.